You did a very interesting tweet about kind of Bitcoin's current security model, and you said that you think we need to talk about it's potentially improving it now rather than later. Could you tell me a bit more about this theory and what your kind of thinking is behind that?
Yeah, so the great thing about Bitcoin is the decentralization and the security and the censorship resistance. But how we're getting that is we're paying the miners. Like the miners are getting paid coins, and they're distributed around the world, and they use energy in a way that people can't just copy it and mimic it. So that's kind of that's at the core of the network, right? Now, the way that Satoshi designed it is that there's a halving. Everybody knows the halving every 4 years. But now we're getting to the point where the block rewards are really starting to decrease. I think, we're going to go from like 6.25 Bitcoin to like 3 to like 1 point something Bitcoin per block. And at some point, if the price can't keep up, the dollar amount that's being paid for miners to incentivize them really goes down a lot. And I think if we don't talk about it, we might end up in a situation where we're unprepared and we don't know what to do, where miners have to just start switching off. I mean, they're already in a bad economic situation right now, and the mining rewards are still pretty high right now. So you can
miners
imagine.
switch off, then doesn't Bitcoin become easier to mine because of the difficulty adjustment? So theoretically, that should entice new miners to mine Bitcoin.
Yeah, but if you think about it, like if somebody wants to interfere and either do like a 51% attack or just kind of create havoc on the block creating process, it becomes not too expensive for them, because like you said, it gets easier and easier to mine blocks, and so somebody can just spend $1 billion and just completely start interfering with the network. Now there's people who will say that it's not the end of the world, because the nodes can still figure out what like real blocks are, and if anybody does a double spend, they'll be able to pick it up and go back. But it really will slow down the ability to get any confirmations done, and in my eyes, it will just make the whole network look like a piece of junk, right? Because like you might take days to get like a transaction through. So we shouldn't take it lightly. Like even if the nodes can go back and find the right state, we have to have a functioning network in order to have credibility.
So what do you think the solution is then?
So there's only three possible solutions. One is optimistic, and it says that the trading fees, the fees from users using it are going to increase a lot, maybe from like Lightning or other L2s checking back in and like paying fees. So there's people optimistic that Satoshi's original vision, which is that the trading fees would pay the miners, maybe still has a chance. It's not looking likely. Like the direction is every month and every year that goes by, there's less and less paid for transaction fees. And I'm not sure if like L2s are going to solve that. So while that's possible, it's unlikely, and we should prepare for the more probable scenario, which is that the transaction fees are not going to be enough. So that's one solution. Another solution, people talk about like, there's going to be some altruistic entities that just mine it just to support the world, sort of like NGOs or something that will just do it for goodwill. Again, from a game theory perspective, it's hard to imagine that that's reliable. Like, where's the money going to come from, and why would somebody do it for everybody else when they're not the only ones?
The government do it. Maybe that I mean, if they're interested in stacking Bitcoin behind the scenes, they could.
But that kind of goes against the whole thesis of Bitcoin as
being
an alternative.
Completely. I agree. Completely, but you never know.
Yeah, and then the third option, which is the one that I'm starting to advocate, is changing the 21 million cap, which is it's an emotional subject, and this is why I think we need to start talking about it now, because it's going to take people some time to think about it and process it and understand why it's not as scary as it looks. Because I understand there's a lot of Bitcoin maxis, or whatever you want to call them, orthodox people, Bitcoin orthodoxers that will push back very heavily against any change towards the 20 million cap. So my idea is we just get to tail emissions, which other like prominent people are starting to support as well in the community. So tail emissions could be like 0.5% a year. It could be something rather small. It's not going to be like a big inflation dilutive thing. It's just enough to create enough new coins so that everything keeps functioning and makes a credible argument that this thing can be sustainable. Because right now there isn't a clear sustainability. And
how would increasing the issuance of Bitcoin, if you could explain to the viewers, how would increasing the issuance of Bitcoin lead to a more sustainable network?
So, I mean, the way to conceptualize it is, you have security guards that you have to pay them to keep your property safe. So if you don't have any money to pay them with, then yeah, maybe they'll do it for a while because they just want to help you out. But at some point, like, they need to pay their families, right? Like, somebody has to pay all these energy costs. Somebody has to pay for all the equipment. So you need a budget. You need a way to pay them. And if block rewards are not paying them, because the way the halvening works, at some point it just goes to zero, then there's no security. So there's no network, and that's it. You're done. Mm-hmm. So you have to create like a wage, a sustainable wage, for like a minimum wage for the miners.
This Crypto Shorts video is proudly brought to you by Unix Gaming, the leading Web3 gaming ecosystem. Not only a worldwide gaming community, Unix is a launchpad, a gaming studio, and a tech and content creator that serves as a bridge between Web 2 and Web 3.